Are you ready for another Cat Clash? Because we certainly are on North Metro TV. It's high school girls lacrosse, second week of the season. Centennial and Spring Lake Park, two North Metro rivals looking to get above 500, and one of these teams will do so with a win today. I'm Mike Eden, joined by Sam Nolan. Sam will take my spot for the second half because whenever you watch this game, we have a boys volleyball game that overlaps with this game, and I got to go cover boys volleyball. So I'm telling you now so people don't worry about my whereabouts for the second half. But Sam, we've got a couple of teams who are trying to build their way forward. Centennial, they've been section finalists for the last several years. They were undefeated in their fall ball league. And Spring Lake Park, they've got the all-time leader in school history in goals in Grace Schmidt. How will that factor into this matchup?
I think it'll definitely factor into just the, like you said, the top players. They're definitely gonna be going back and forth here. I'm wondering too if we're gonna see any like extra defensive measures on Centennial's side of things to try and guard Grace Schmidt, like you were saying, because she's a top scorer. So we'll see how this game turns out with that and see if there's any extra defensive measures or not and what they decide to do. What kind of defense they play, what kind of offense they play. We'll have to check it out.
Centennial played here on Monday, knocked off Blaine, Blaine knocked them off 8-5. And Spring Lake Park coming off a 14-5 victory over Irondale. They lost a 9-8 close duel with the Totino Grayson Anthony Co-op, and Centennial opened the season with a victory over Grand Rapids Greenway. But still a long way to go before we figure out who to look for early in the season. Some of the Blue Bloods, Prior Lake and Lakeville South, are among the teams to watch. Lacrosse still has just one class. And Centennial bringing in a new goalie this year, Delaney Linzer, her first year on varsity. That's not uncommon in the sport of lacrosse. But they do have three college commits in Eloise, Avery Sauber, and Savannah Nipping. Some are academic as opposed to lacrosse specific, but I always like to highlight the college commits wherever they go. Schmidt and Weiss, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know how accurate the MN Lax Hub is, but from what I saw, Delaney, this being her first year, she's doing pretty good so far. She's at about a 60% save average, so we'll see how that turns out for the rest of the year as well.
And to finish up on the point heading into this one, Grace Schmidt, she'll be going to Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and Eloise, who will be headed to Minnesota Crookston, are going to be the two primary players to watch on offense. But as you know, Sam, having been a lacrosse player yourself, you like to get 3, 4, maybe more players involved. That usually makes the difference between winning and losing in a lacrosse game.
Yep, 100%. Yep, we'll see who takes the win today, but I think it'll be a good match.
I think we can rule myself out. I cannot compete for the win today. But I am curious, Sam, you played lacrosse at Champlain Park, if memory serves correctly.
Yep.
But a couple years ago, they made some changes to the rules, so you played under a different system. In your time, it was halves. This is the second year, I believe, where they've had 12-minute quarters.
Yep.
How does that affect strategy and approach? I think the timing is still the same in terms of when the clock stops, but going from halves to quarters, what differences have you noticed since then?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's switched it up quite a bit. I think generally it kind of from what I've seen so far, it's kind of it feels like it's almost picking up the pace a little bit more because you feel like you don't have as much time. But I also think it's just a good way to get a break in between here. Going to quarters is kind of like matching men's lacrosse as well because they've always been at quarters, so that's kind of nice. But I think it could be, there's pros and cons. You have your halves. If you're used to that, then it's a bit of a difference. Also, if you're kind of on a roll, in the first half, and then you get that break at the first quarter, it kind of stops your roll a little bit. So we'll see what other differences they see, but I think that would be the biggest for me.
Again, that change was put in place a couple of years ago. Girls lacrosse still the quicker of the two because they use a running clock, I think, until the final minute of regulation, or does it run all the way through?
I'm actually not sure.
Well, I am sure about this. Centennial won the opening draw, and this is Lillian Browsen. No shot clock at the high school level, so teams get as much time as they want to run a set. And I've noted this in my years covering lacrosse. Whether you call it the draw circle in girls or face-off circle in boys, they mean the same thing, but winning them can be crucial for establishing tempo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most of the time if you're winning draws, you're winning the game. Totally circumstantial because obviously you can win the ball back from someone if they win the draw, but I would say most of the time it starts at the draw.
Centennial drew a foul after Spring Lake Park had a tough time moving the ball downfield, and Spring Lake Park snatches it back on the takeaway by Allie Edwards. This is Sophia Mittis. She'll back off. 7 to a side, that's the limit in girls lacrosse, and we're going to have a trip call on Spring Lake Park. So Centennial gets it back, and there is no time limit to get it across. And unlike boys lacrosse, you can go back and get the ball if it rolls behind the midfield line. Play resumes, just underway here in the first quarter. Mackenzie Munger. Now Paige Clausen. Spring Lake Park, they've been able to force some knocks, get some loose balls out of there, and keep Centennial from getting a shot on goal. This is Grace Schmidt, the Eau Claire commit. Has to reset to where the foul was called. As the Panthers were trying to set something up in stride, Ruby Castillo backs off. Now Kylie Dewar. And again, no shot clock, so you have as much time as you want until the quarter clock runs out. Schmidt surveying the left side, goes back behind. You see that a lot, Sam, in both boys and girls lacrosse. But that's not what you want to see. Losing the ball, having a squirt out of your stick like that. But I was going to say, Allie Edwards moves back up. You do see that a lot, a player stationed behind the net, and there are a couple of reasons for that.
Yeah, you definitely want to have somebody behind the net at all times. Mainly just if you get a shot off and it falls behind the net instead of in it, you want somebody to make sure they're getting as close to the ball as possible because that, gives you possession of the ball.
Both teams trade possessions. Now Melanie Reff will take it the other way.
You also see a lot of teams kind of use the behind the net area as a kind of setting up for their plays, which it looks like Centennial is trying to do here. They're just trying to get it down first, slow it down a little bit, and then set up a couple plays it looks like they're trying to. So we'll see if they get a chance to pull some of those off.
Right now we've got a little game of hot potato unfolding. Mua through the hole. Romiker with the save. Uh-oh.
Got a pretty big push.
That was Wiest with the takedown. Just a common foul. There are penalties in girls lacrosse. They are more rare than boys, but they can come into play. I saw that happen last year. I did a Stillwater White Bear Lake game where Stillwater found themselves on the wrong end of the yellow card, had to play with 6 instead of 7 late in the game because they picked up 4 yellows.
Yep.
And that's an important distinction in this sport. If a team were to accrue 4 yellows, then they go down a player the rest of the game. But it's not like soccer where if you get 2 yellows, you have to go down like that. Here comes Spring Lake Park. Just 1 shot on goal. Spring Lake Park has yet to make an attempt with 6:38 left in the first. A lot of contact between the two sides. And Sam, I've noticed the two teams having a tough time getting established. We've seen a little bit of choppiness in this first quarter, and this might be the best scoring chance we've seen so far.
Yep, we got an 8-meter shot. Yeah, it kind of seems like they're both teams are maybe just a little excited here. We're just playing a little frantically, but I think once they get a little bit more time here further in the game, they'll probably get the hang of slowing things down a little bit. I think both teams have just seen fast break opportunities and tried to go for that, but we'll probably see them try and slow it down here soon.
Still scoreless here at Circle Pines. Grace Ferguson doesn't have a lane. She'll back off. This is Savannah Nipping and Lillian Browson setting up behind the net, as Sam explained. They function as a pivot player when they're looking to set things up. The wraparound, the shot from up top, and Centennial gets on the board. Lillian Browson goes from behind the net to take a front position, a leading role, so to speak. Or was there a whistle called?
Yeah.
There was a whistle before.
Like, yep, there was a whistle before.
Whistle before the shot, so it will be an 8-meter look for Browson. Tough break because
it was a nice shot, though.
I thought Centennial had the goal, and instead it bounces off the crossbar back to Centennial. Spring Lake Park catches a break. From here, it looked like Browson had Centennial on the board, but instead, we remain scoreless.
Yeah, that's a shame. That was a nice 2v2 swoop with Browson and her teammate, Annabelle Moa.
That's something only you would know. A 2v2 swoop. You know what, maybe for one of these Sports Den episodes, Sam, we should have you draw up a diagram and explain lacrosse for dummies, which would be me and the rest of us.
All the little plays, yeah.
Here comes Centennial, Ryan Cheesebro. Centennial getting after it, forcing a couple of takeaways. Let's see if they can make good on this set after an opportunity was wiped away by a foul call.
Nice.
That was Wiest. Looked like the shot went off the post, but another foul was called. Or was it?
Yeah,
okay, it was a foul, just on the other team. I thought it might go the other way.
They're not having very good luck with these shots here, but hopefully that'll turn around for them soon.
Under 3.5 to go in the first. Mike Beaton and Sam Nolan still waiting for our first goal. And there will be at least one because lacrosse games do not end in ties.
Yep.
Last Thursday was opening day for a lot of schools.
I will say that we got some pretty nice weather out here today for a lacrosse game.
Edwards had her shot deflected. 60 degrees, the high temperature for today. Rain in the forecast tomorrow. Spring Lake Park hoping to forecast a goal-scoring chance. as we remain in a scoreless stalemate here in Circle Pines on North Metro TV. That's Sophia Mittis. And a foul drawn by Allie Edwards. Sam, have you ever tried to pitch to Kenton or Ted about doing some lacrosse plays or explaining some terminology? Because lacrosse is one of those sports I feel like unless you've played it, you're not fully in the know as the Panthers try to go backdoor.
Yeah. I guess, no, I haven't ever pitched that idea. Would probably be a good idea to do that before games for some of our other announcers who haven't played. But, yeah, it's tricky, too, though, because, I mean, you know, I played girls lacrosse. I know girls lacrosse. But on the other hand, too, or on the other side, because this two sports are so different, I don't know boys lacrosse. So I can only help with the one, but.
Well, one is better than none, but
Yep.
You are right, Sam. They have two different rule sets and different field dimensions, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a larger field for the girls, smaller for the boys. As Centennial gets another stop as we approach a minute to go in the first, still waiting for our first goal. Centennial taking the circular path. Flag goes up. So a delayed penalty. And it will be a common foul. So an 8-meter look. Again, the clock does not stop in the first quarter. If I remember right, it doesn't stop until the final minute of regulation. But Centennial will have to line it up from the 12-meter line. Usually not an ideal spot to make a direct attack, but if you get a good set off, it can suit you well. Ella Wiest was cut off. She resets along the right side. Tries to maneuver through the middle, cannot. 20 seconds. Wiest with the roundabout. Had the ball knocked away. Now a battle for the loose ball. Everyone's still scrambling for it. 8 seconds. Centennial picks it up and then has it knocked away again. That will probably do it. Yep, Centennial's going to run out of time. And that brings us to the end of one quarter. Still scoreless in this battle between Centennial and Spring Lake Park. Sam, the defenses are not fooling around today.
Nope. Yeah, they're definitely being pretty aggressive on both sides. I will say that the one difference I've seen here so far, though, is Centennial's putting a little more pressure outside and coming off of the 8-meter line to kind of put some pressure on Spring Lake Park. So maybe that's kind of leading to them getting possession back most of the time, but we'll see.
With this quarter break, it's an opportunity to remind you, well, Sports Den is on its spring break, spring and summer break, but our sports coverage is not. Lots of spring sports through June, boys volleyball, the new sport, and it won't be long, or it won't feel that way, when USA Cup makes another round at the National Sports Center. So that's what's on tap for North Metro TV. Sam, it's interesting. I've done a lot of lacrosse, and even if I'm still learning some of the nuances of the game, it's not often you go through an entire quarter scoreless.
Yeah, I will say this isn't very common. I mean, the amount of shots that we've seen so far, too, I guess hasn't been that many. So, I mean, there's been a lot of back and forth. Hoping to see a little more shots go off in the second quarter here, but we'll see. I feel like that's kind of what I was predicting. They're a pretty good match tonight, so they're both being pretty aggressive. It's the first quarter. Nobody's really that gassed yet, so we'll see how the rest of the game goes.
And by my count, Sam, I'm not even sure Spring Lake Park got a shot on goal.
Yeah, I now that I'm trying to think about it, I don't think they did either. I think we just got the couple from Centennial. And, yeah, and then the rest of the Rest of the time, we're pretty much just some turnovers on Spring Lake Park side, which, again, I think kind of comes back to Centennial being a little more aggressive on defense. So we'll see if they keep that up or if they are going to get tired here quick, because I will say from personal experience, every time that we, played an aggressive defense and put more pressure on the ball or on the girl with the ball, you do get tired pretty quickly. So
the two teams switch sides as they do for every quarter. And we'll have another meeting. Officially, it's the draw circle in girls lacrosse, but functionally it means the same as face-off.
Yep.
That was something I had to learn, draw, control, face-off. And in my head I'm going, why are there two terms for the same thing?
Yeah.
Centennial, that might have been their best scoring chance yet, but Paige Clausen lost the ball just as she was about to enter her approach. She had the defense beat. Mua draws the foul before the 8-meter line. By the way, Sam's alma mater undefeated in the early part of the season. And Mua's foul was considered at the 8-meter line, so she'll get our first chance. The one-hopper, Rummaker, and that's another save, but a foul was called on Centennial, so Spring Lake Park catches a breather.
Oh, interesting.
You saw something different?
No, I just thought that call was interesting. But yeah, Spring Lake Park is playing some pretty good defense here, I will say. They're kind of hugging a little tighter to the 8-meter with their defense, which I think is, helping them out a lot because they have some extra help if one of their girls happens to, end up outrunning her defender, and they got some extra help there. But we'll see how it turns out. Centennial's definitely putting the pressure on that defense here, so.
That's Elsie Dockendorf. Centennial by possession time the stronger team, but they have yet to rip one through the net. And we don't just have any old lacrosse player or lacrosse past player, alum. What's the right way of phrasing it? We got a foul in Spring Lake Park. I'll explain in a moment. But we're going to have an 8-meter look for Paige Clausen. Mua couldn't get it through. Clausen, if she gets a good jump here. Rummaker with the catch. It was a little high, but Rummaker wasn't going to take any chances. Good save by Jane Rummaker. Well, Sam, actually, your background in the sport might be helpful for these two. As Spring Lake Park looks to flip the field, and they draw a foul inside the 8-meter zone, and it will be Grace Schmidt, the Eau Claire commit. Sam Nolan, in her senior year, led Champlain Park in goals. She had 44.
Yep. That was a long time ago.
Well, that's 44 more than I have. Schmidt from up top. Too high. Spring Lake Park closest to the ball. They had two players stationed behind the net, but Sam, I feel that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, those are definitely the shots that you want to make sure that you're capitalizing on, and just seeing both teams not really luck out with the couple that they've had so far is, might mean something later in the game, but we'll see.
Right now, it's more of a no harm, no foul situation. Both sides have whiffed on a couple of opportunities, but it happens. No matter the level, no matter where you're going, you got to keep plugging away, as these two are, as we're approaching 8 minutes to go in the second. Errant pass. Mua with the grab.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of, this is a really intense and fast-paced game so far. I feel like just having the two teams, just this cat clash going on, maybe, you know, I feel like energies are pretty high. We got a bit of a rush here from both teams, so we'll see if they kind of can slow it down at all and get some plays in here, or if they'll get a couple more shots off. We'll see.
Caitlin Frank cut off by a double. Back out to Clausen. Clausen overshoots the mark, looking for Browsen, and that was a pass, so that will hand control back to Spring Lake Park. Sam, I am curious, as I go back through the history books, you had a few sock tricks in your senior year. What would happen when you would get 6 goals? I know in hockey they throw hats. I did a Monticello St. Cloud game where we had a player score 8.
Yeah.
As Centennial gets another takeaway and then has to reset after Spring Lake Park knocked it away. Cougars trying to prowl their way onto the board, and they'll get another 8-meter look. Kylie Bergwall, number 49, from just outside the center area. Romiker, another clutch save.
Well, yeah, I guess I just had nothing really special would ever happen. I just had a really, I don't know. They were all really fun games. When I played in high school, I was always super close with my teammates. So, you know, just having any good game where we won was just a fun opportunity, and we had a lot of team bonding. We would always go out and get some food and stuff after games if we won. Yeah, so I was just happy to be there.
Spring Lake Park will take over after the shot from Browsen was deflected. Well, on last Thursday, the opening day of the season, Addie Kipeth of Monticello scored 8 goals. It was a career high, and it would have tied a state tournament record had it been a state tournament game. Sam, I believe your highest was 7.
In a
game.
Oh, really?
Well, that's according to the hub.
I don't remember that.
What? I thought you remember every single detail from every goal you scored.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember exactly what game you're talking about.
Mackenzie Munger with the look in transition. That sails away. We're approaching 4 minutes to go. Well, let's see if we can jog your memory. It came against Andover. You had 7 goals and an assist.
Nice. Yeah, that must have been a pretty good game for me. I do remember a lot of games with my teammate, Hannah Krimble. She was another.
She played basketball too, if I recall.
Yeah, she's just an amazing athlete all around.
I remember Hannah from basketball.
Yeah, but I played lacrosse with her, and I just remember one lacrosse game that we had, and I think she would typically score like about at least 3 goals per game. And I remember one game we were playing a team, and she did this amazing cut.
We have finally broken the drought. Mackenzie Munger with the sidearm sling.
Nice goal. Now we're talking.
It took us 21 minutes and 43 seconds to net our first goal, but Centennial is on the board.
Yep. Hopefully that gets the ball rolling.
Well, Sam, I know we jumped, or I should say Mackenzie jumped on your story about Hannah Krimble, but There's that, but then the patience factor as well. I'm guessing you were in your share of games, or you had to ride it out for a few minutes until you could get on the board.
Yep.
How do you handle what I imagine is a stressful situation where you're trying to get the ball in the net and you're just stuck, whether it's 0-1-2 for an extended period of time?
Yeah, I think just like remembering to kind of keep your cool, stay patient, as you were saying. Just patience is a good trait to have, and just making sure that you're talking to your teammates still, and like making sure everyone's staying composed, and and not getting too frantic and upset or anything if it's just not working out for you trying to get the ball in the back of the net. So I think just making sure to stay positive, talk to your teammates, that's a huge thing, especially in these low-scoring games.
And I have to correct myself. It was 20 minutes and 43 seconds. The goal came at 8:43 in the second. I forgot to add 1 in the minute column.
That's all right.
So we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the second. 1-0 is the score. And again, Sam will take over for the second half because I will be at boys volleyball just across the parking lot, pretty much. I was going to say across the street, but it doesn't exactly work here.
Yeah, we'll see how the second half goes. It's definitely not gonna be as fun. That's for sure.
Well, if the pace is like this, you might get done early, and
that's
you'll
true.
be able to join us by the time boys volleyball starts.
Yep.
No major penalties, just 1 goal, and that makes for a quick moving combination as Spring Lake Park draws a foul with time winding down. They tried the one-timer, or the quick stick as they call it in lacrosse. They try it again.
Ooh.
Shot deflected, and taking a hit was Elsie Dockendorf.
Got a shot to the back of the dome, I think. Looks like she's okay though. But yeah, that is a yellow card for a dangerous shot.
And that will go on Katie Wiegand, the Stevens Point commit, with under a minute, 59 seconds to be precise. So Centennial will end the second quarter a woman up.
Yeah, so we'll see if they'll get another shot in here first before the time runs out. Since they are a man up, they got a better chance.
Man up, woman up. How do you categorize that in girls lacrosse?
Yeah, I guess
it is kind of weird.
It just, yeah, when it comes out, it just comes out as man up, I think.
Person
but
or?
Yeah, technical terms, I guess, woman up.
or I'm a Mario fan, just say one up, right?
Yeah,
because
you're one up.
You have one up on your opponent.
Got a timeout.
With 48 seconds left, each team gets 2 per half if I remember the rules.
Yeah, I think so. I remember.
You think so?
Yeah, I swear this was so long ago, and high school is so much different than college lacrosse too. So
did you play in?
I feel like it just all blends together at the end of the day.
Did you play in college?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go?
I played at St. Leo University down in Florida.
St. Lou in Florida.
Yep. So they're.
And you were crazy enough to come all the way back up here.
Yeah, I know. I do love Minnesota though. I just love a 4-season state.
So St. Lou in Florida, and you came up here.
St. Leo. Sorry.
St. Leo.
Came out weird, but yeah, St. Leo University. Yeah, it was a really nice school though. Very pretty, and obviously great weather. Can't complain about that. Besides
I suppose
the hurricanes.
in the winter months,
yeah,
different in the spring, summer, fall, and yes, hurricane season. A little bit of a thing you got to deal with.
Yep.
But 48 seconds. Centennial with plenty of time to get one more on the board.
It looked like it was Centennial who took the timeout, so I'm thinking they probably talked about strategy and maybe getting a specific play since they are a man up still, so we'll see what happens here.
So you would call it man up in your day.
Yeah, it just comes out that way. I don't know.
This happens a lot. I do basketball, as you know. I've done that for a long time, and you hear the same thing, like with man defense, man to man, even though it's technically not accurate.
Yeah, I know. It's just when you grow up that way, I guess, or you hear that on the television and radio and everything. It's a hard thing to shake, I guess.
I see it now with 30 seconds left. A Sports Den special semantic debate.
Yep.
Centennial taking their time. Again, no shot clock, and they do have the woman up as a result of the yellow card on Katie Wiegand for a dangerous shot. Trying to snake through that defensive front. It's Wiest. Tries a stutter step, draws the foul, and the clock will stop with 10 seconds. So Wiest will get to position herself from the 8-meter spot. Harsh angle though, but we'll see what she does with it.
Yeah.
She'll rifle it in to give Centennial a 2-0 lead.
I was like, she's a pretty good ball handler, so I think she can crack the shot off.
And she does with 8 seconds left in the second. That's 11:52 for you mathematicians on the scorecard. And the Minnesota Crookston product, or soon-to-be product, gets Centennial a 2-0 lead. That's a big goal going into halftime with a low-scoring game so far.
Yep.
Now, that's presuming we don't see anything wild. If you can get a clean draw win here, you could floor it downfield, maybe get one more before the half's out.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, in technical terms, I remember practicing it in high school and college. It takes about 7 seconds to get a goal, so they could make it happen. It would just have to be very, very meticulous.
I bet you could do it in 6, right?
Yep, passing down the field, just accurate passes, and obviously draw control right away, which is the main thing you want to do.
Well, Spring Lake Park won't be able to make anything of that draw victory. It's halftime. Centennial up 2-0. Sam, the Cougars broke the drought. Still anybody's game, of course, but you have to think Centennial, with how they've controlled possession, maybe gaining the upper hand as we head into halftime.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see how the second half plays out, but it's been a pretty good match so far, so we'll see if Spring Lake Park can rally a couple of goals as well in the second half.
So we'll take a short break, and Sam will have the second half for you. I will be heading into the gym for boys volleyball with Centennial and Spring Lake Park, coincidentally, as we continue live coverage of high school girls lacrosse on North Metro TV. Centennial leading Spring Lake Park 2-0.
Good evening. We will call the City Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Time is 6:30 p.m. I'm calling to order the City of Centerville Council meeting.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the City of Circle Pines, Minnesota regular City Council meeting.
Take your City Council anywhere.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ham Lake City Council meeting.
Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, Bill.
Lake Park City Council meeting is now called to order.
Subscribe to your city podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
All right, welcome back to the second half of the girls lacrosse game, Centennial versus Spring Lake Park. Starting the half off at 2 points for the Cougars and 0 for the Panthers. Pretty low scoring game so far, as we've seen, but for those of you just joining, we got a redraw right away because the ball didn't get high enough. Ball didn't get high enough up above their shoulders for that first draw here, so we're trying it again. Looks like Centennial takes possession. Oh, but we had a line violation over on Centennial's side, so the possession goes back over to Spring Lake Park. But the Cougars grab it back real quick. We have Ella Wiest grabbing possession back from a long pass from Spring Lake Park. She intercepted it there, so back on Centennial's side. And it looks like they're trying to set something up here. All right. We have Annabelle Mua with the ball behind the net, and we have a bunch of Centennial players stacked on top of the 8 here trying to filter in and make something happen. Centennial still with possession. Tried to get a play right through the middle there, but there was a drop ball and we had to pick it back up here. We're back behind the net with Mackenzie Munger. She's trying to sweep around the crease, see if there's any open opportunities. Shot off. Shot off. It looked like right off the goalie's helmet there. Can't really tell. Oh. It actually might have been off of a girl's goggles here. It looks like we have a yellow card for dangerous shot. Goes out to Ella Wiest, so just an unlucky spot there. That'll be like the second headshot we got today, so it's interesting. All right, Spring Lake Park started, but the Cougars gained back possession here real quick. We got a crease roll with, and a shot off by number 11, Lillian Browsen, but miss. Ooh, another shot off here by number 17, Paige Clausen, and that was a goal for the midi, junior midi here. Brings the score for the Cougars up to 3-0. Nice shot at the top right corner there. Kind of caught them off guard too, so because I think after Browsen got that shot off and Spring Lake Park gained possession, they were kind of in offensive mode at that point, and that interception from the Cougars and back to shooting right away kind of caught them off guard. So nice retaliation there. And we're back at the draw circle for this. Quick possession from number 12, Grace Schmidt on Spring Lake Park. Got a little over 9 minutes left in the third quarter here. And I think this is Spring Lake Park's first possession down in their offensive area. Looks like we got a call here. I didn't see exactly what the call was, but got a pass into the middle of the 8 here for what looked like a good opportunity, but the ball was dropped, and now there's a little scramble for the ball, but Spring Lake Park quickly gained possession back, so looks like they are kicking it around. Ooh. Spring Lake Park's Allie Edwards gets a foul here. She passes it off to Sophia Middies. Or Metis. Allie Edwards tries for a pass up top from one of the cutters, but the Cougars gain back interception, or back possession from an interception here by Annabelle Moa. Had a little tip for the ball going out of bounds though off of her stick, so possession goes back to the Spring Lake Park side. Things are looking a little kind of crazy. I think the energy's still a little high here, but possession's kind of been going back and forth here for a bit, so we'll see if we can kind of, either team kind of calms things down. Looks like Centennial's trying to do so now. We have Caitlin Hemmer, sophomore for Centennial, kind of setting the pace for her teammates right now. Ooh, nice 2v2 swoop with Lillian Browsen coming out after Caitlin set a pick for her right on the crease there. That was a nice little play. Good shot down low for her. Starting to think that's Centennial's kind of go-to move here for the night, is that 2v2 swoop. And setting up below the net is another thing that they're doing really well at this game. You know, one thing I've noticed too is that Centennial's been setting up, you know, taking their time, making sure to set up really wide, keeping their offense really wide, which in turn kind of spreads out the defense on Spring Lake Park side of things. So keeping the defense spread out can only really benefit you in the end with trying to get a play going, or a 2v2 swoop, or just an opportunity for getting some space in there. And we got a, ooh, saw that one coming. Got a fast break by Eloise and a shot off for now bringing their score up to 5-0. With about 6 minutes left in this third quarter. Draw goes up onto Centennial's offensive side, but Spring Lake Park picks it up, and it's taken down by Grace Schmidt right now. Senior midi, Grace Schmidt. Takes it behind the net to try and slow things down and set things up for her team here. So we have, looks like Grace Schmidt and Allie Edwards behind the net, setting the pace. Edwards tries for a crease roll. Kind of pulls it back out because didn't see any opportunity for one there. The Cougars defense is really packing on the pressure right now, and I mean have been all game, which I think is really a catalyst for them getting possession back so quickly every time here. Looks like they're playing man-to-man defense, but whoever has the ball is getting quite a bit of pressure put on her, which is kind of forcing them to make decisions very fastly, which, you know, either moving, passing the ball, or holding it and trying to go it around the defender. So it can be really intimidating just putting a hand on. And we got a shot off by Grace Schmidt, a little wide, but they gained possession back. Edwards was the closest to the ball once it went out. Ooh, nice pass. Nice pass and goal. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that was inside the goal. Looked like the goalie picked it, Centennial's goalie, Delaney Linzer, picked it up, but it did cross that line. Shot off by number, I think it was 21. I think it was a pass by Grace Schmidt to number 21, Sophia Matisse. And that brings the score up to 5-1. Draw goes up. Cougars gain possession again here. Caitlin Hemmer brings it down for her team this time. Ella Wiest with possession of the ball right now, trying to drops it, just getting a little pressure from a couple defenders on Spring Lake Park side, and but it looks like they gained possession back. Pass in the middle from Avery Novotny to Ella Wiest, but failed pass there. Possession goes back to Spring Lake Park. You have another 23, Caitlin Easton, bringing that up the field. Getting a little cornered by these Cougar defensemen right now. She gets the pass off to Grace Schmidt, though. And she's taking it up the right side of the field here. Cougars putting the pressure on the Panthers still here, making them kind of slow things down here. Ooh, got a shot off by Allie Edwards, but goes a little high. Number 17, Ruby Castillo with the ball now. Passes to Grace Matisse. Got a little fumble of the ball here, but after a scramble, comes back up with the ball. Pass down low to Allie Edwards with a shot off low, but does not go in. Although she did draw a call, I think we got a push here. So she's getting the 8-meter shot. Kind of pulls it back out though, but the possession goes back over to Cougars here after a little fumble from Allie Edwards. I will say all of these changes of possession look like they're just coming from little small mistakes on the Spring Lake Park side, so definitely might be some nerves out there tonight influencing that a little bit, but you know, they look like they're getting good plays out there. It's just the small things that aren't really following through. And we conclude our third quarter here of our game. Score is 5 for the Cougars, 1 for the Panthers here on this gorgeous night. So we're going to take a little break before we come back for the fourth quarter in about 2 minutes.
Scored with 6:22, and Eloise scored second goal with 6:01 to go. For the Panthers, it was Allie Edwards scoring the first goal at 8:51 to go.
All right, coming back after a nice break for the rest of the girls, the fourth quarter of the girls lacrosse game between Centennial and Spring Lake Park. I am your one and only host, Sam Nolan. Earlier was joined with Mike Peden as well, but he had to hop on over to the boys volleyball game, so you're stuck with me. Switching sides for the last time tonight. Unfortunately, looks like Spring Lake Park's goalie has a helmet full of sunshine. So we'll see how that plays into things for this fourth quarter. Possession goes to the Cougars right off of the draw into, looks like Lillian Browsen's hands over here. I will say Centennial's offense, I think I said this before, but it's just they really do a good job at setting up their offense, making sure everyone's down, and spreading out. Spreading out is a huge catalyst for getting more goals because more your offense is spread out, the more their defense is spread out, and the more, cutting opportunities and little. Oh, they got something weird going on in the corner. Not sure who has the ball here, which was definitely the goal. Looks like number 15, Paige Post, has the ball here, though. They had a little bit of a scramble up at like the 30-yard line. Looks like they just went into a kind of little huddle thing to throw the other team off and swapped the ball around while they were in the huddle. So definitely a smart little play there, and looked kind of fun as well. I'm sure they kind of enjoy deking out the other team. Got possession back at Spring Lake Park side here, though. Had a pass go to, let's see here, Katie Wiggin. Unsuccessful pass, though. Oh. Allie Edwards tries to get a shot off, but loses the ball behind her before she could follow through. So Delaney Linzer picks that up and pushes it out and forward for her team. And Centennial takes it behind the net to settle it down again here for maybe another play. They got formulating in their minds. Looks like they're trying to go for that far corner again. They got someone coming in on the side here. That was it. Oh! And then kind of accidental slip goal for Avery Sauber. She's a defenseman going to McAllister. So that was coming off one of their pretty smart plays. It looks like they kind of had everyone stack in the far corner and then had one of their middies hop on over the line there so that she could sneak in from the other side. And, successful play. Kind of snuck in. I think it was a little bit of a fumble on the Spring Lake Park side, but that brings the score up to 6-1. Had the draw go up, but it looks like we have a call, and Spring Lake Park gains possession. Oh, okay. It looks like it was I'm not even sure, like a stick violation there. Good cuts down the field and passing, but a dropped pass from number 9, it looks like Caitlin Frank. Or no, sorry, that's on Centennial side. Ingrid Welkin. Allie Edwards with possession of the ball now at the top. Tries to cut around her defender with a high shot. Delaney Linzer saves that, though.
Shot saved by Delaney Linzer.
I will say she looks like a pretty tall goalie, which in that case, most of the time, those high shots are pretty hard to get past those tall goalies. So it might be a better, usually better idea to like shoot lower when they're tall like that, just because it's so easy for them to get the high shots. Cougars gain possession back. Oh, but we have a little fumble, and Grace Schmidt grabs the ball and brings it back on over to Spring Lake Park. Spring Lake Park's offensive side. We have a little bit of a fumble here too, though. Looks like Cougars grab that back. got Eloise with possession, trying to pull that ball back behind the net and get something set up here. A little bit of a shot off, but hits Spring Lake Park's goalie. She got a little save and throws it back out and up the field. Oh, looks like Cougars grabbed possession back here. We got a little bit of a fast break. Fast break opportunity, but looks like there was a call.
The last goal was to Avery Saber for the first of the season.
Lined up just outside here. Shot goes low, but that's a save by Layla Jane Romaker, which also has a pretty good high save percentage for this season as well, with like a 55% so far. So again, I don't know how accurate that website is so far, but at least for what they do have recorded, she's got a 55% saving average. So pretty good for trying to defend from such a small ball. Cougars player Lillian Brazen takes that ball down to their offensive side here. Tries a 2v2 swoop with Mackenzie Munger, and she gets the shot off high, but goes a little wide. But we'll stick with Cougars possession here. Cougars trying to kick the ball around. Looks like they're about to set up something in the top corner again, drawing the defenders out. Number 3, Caitlin Hemmer tried to drive there, but does pull a foul, so she gets a shot off here. She takes that in, shot, ooh. Goes a little wide there. Nice pass over to Paige Clausen, but she takes it out for another opportunity to set things up. Kenzie Munger passes over to her teammate and then whips it back, but Kenzie Munger at the top here trying to get something going. Got a call here. But looks like she's taking that opportunity to still take it out and set things up. Looks like we swinging the ball around behind the net here. Paige Clausen with the ball. Currently waiting for that opportunity. It looks like they're trying to draw a lot of the Spring Lake Park defenders out of the way so they can maybe make a crease roll happen, which is executed, and a shot goes off from Lillian Brazen, but unfortunately bounces off the pole. Which I think make that like the third post shot tonight, which is interesting. All right, then Spring Lake Park Panthers gain back possession of the ball. Number 5, Kaylin Durr has possession now, gets a little call off, but that's outside the 12, so she's taking that opportunity to, looks like she was trying to take the opportunity to get the ball moving to her teammate Peyton Scandrett, but she was a little trigger happy there with getting the ball off. Have a little scramble in front of Centennial's net right now. Number 49, Kylie Bergwald, gains possession after the scramble in the middle there, and it looks like she's chugging along, taking the ball up the field, which is a long way to take the ball. I wish I still had that energy. Shot off by Mackenzie Munger and sinks it into the back end of the net, which brings our score up to 7-1. Great fast break and shot opportunity for her there. One minute, 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter here. Looks like we're coming to the conclusion of our game. Draw goes out to Cougars. Cougars gain possession. Number 17, Paige Clausen. Caitlin Frank, Centennial defender, brings that up for her teammates here. And then we got a cut and a shot off by number 27, Kira Briggs. Freshman for the Cougars, but the shot goes a little wide there. Looks like they're trying to keep possession of the ball, slow it down. They are up by 6 points right now, so, no shot clock. Makes sense to kind of slow things down so they're not giving up any goals for the last 30 seconds here. Number 17 takes it in, shot, and a save from Spring Lake Park's goalie right now. Looks like there's a call, though. Number 17, Paige Clausen got the shot off. And, yeah, it looks like we got a penalty that happened before the shot here, so she'll get another opportunity. 8-meter shot. Oh, bounces a little high. She goes for the bounce shot and bounces a little high over the net there. And it looks like Spring Lake Park gains possession this time because they were closest behind the net. Bringing it back up, a couple seconds left though. And our time concludes. Nice Centennial win. Centennial Cougars win 7-1 against their Spring Lake Park Cat Clash rivals. Thank you for joining us here tonight at Centennial High School Stadium for another Cat Clash here. I'm your host, Sam Nolan, joined here tonight by Rob Clark and A.V. Becker. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.